So good afternoon. Once again, this is, as I said before, is Alessio Lupi. I acted as a consultant for Marche Region. That is one of the partner of the Blue Crowdfunding project. Me together with a team of people, of course, implemented the activities that were foreseen in the project. Among those, it was the launch of a pilot campaign, crowdfunding campaign in our regional area. So some background information in order for you to understand the situation that we faced at the beginning of the project, basically. So in the Marche region, as the other regions probably that were involved in the project, I take the chance to greet the friends from Campania region, Italy, another partner of the project, and the region of Central Macedonia in Greece. We all shared situation of somehow being totally new in this dimension of the crowdfunding. In the Marche region, we didn't have nearly any experience of crowdfunding. Just 2 campaigns were run in the previous years, rather small campaigns run at a municipal level. And the region didn't have any experience at all in crowdfunding. Also, as a staff of the project, were blank paged, so didn't have any experience at the beginning. That was in 2020. So we had to somehow raise skills ourselves in order to be trained in order to be able at September 2021 to build up and run a crowdfunding campaign in our regional area. Also, the citizens, of course, of Marche regions were not very experienced in this kind of new form of financing, and so we somehow had to introduce also the citizens to this new innovative form of financing. That was in 2020. So in September 2020, we started a set of preparatory activities that were actually foreseen by the Blue Crowdfunding project. So we didn't invent anything. We just put in place the activities that we were asked to implement, basically. What we did at the beginning was a legal workshop for legal consideration. That's how it's called. So basically, we involved the staff of the Marche region, and we started talking about implementing a campaign, what this meant on an administrative and financial point of view, basically. So what were the rules we had to follow, what were the things we could have done, and what things we couldn't, basically, given also the legislation that was present in the regional area. We also had to face the political side, of course, and this is a pretty important stakeholder, because also the politicians, were put in front of a situation in which they had to put their face on the campaign somehow, and they didn't know whether this initiative would have been successful or not. So we had to somehow convince them to trust somehow the flow and be involved in this initiative. That was one of the toughest parts at the beginning, I need to say. Then, after having faced the internal stuff of the Marche region, we organized a set of events on the regional territory in order to meet some meaningful stakeholders. So the topic of the campaign was the blue economy. So the campaign should have been implemented around some topics related with the blue economy sector. So there was no other requirement from the project. We were free to set the specific topic of the campaign, the target of the campaign, the duration of the campaign, this crowdfunding scheme we would have used, the platform, etc., etc. So what we did is to consult a set of stakeholders working in the blue economy, asking them basically what were, according to them, the main topics, main issues somehow, or main opportunities related with the blue economy in the regional area. So to start identifying what possible initiative we could have somehow proposed through the campaign. We did 2 co-creation workshops, and then based on the outcomes of this workshop, in May 2021, we issued a call for ideas, basically. So it's a public call issued by the regional authority, in which we asked the citizen, organization, companies to propose one initiative that then would have become the object of the campaign. Of course, at this stage of the process, we somehow already were aware more or less of the topic we would have tackled, more or less of the main topic of the campaign. The result of this call for ideas is the project Mare Circolare, which is the project that we focus the campaign on, basically. The campaign, the project is about basically cleaning the sea or some parts of the sea in the proximity of the coastal lines of the Marche region through the use of a dedicated boat, which is called the Pelican. You see a picture on the left side. A company based in Marche region owned that boat. They used to do this kind of activity around the world, basically worldwide, and they proposed to do that in some parts of the region. Of course, I mean, to use this kind of boat, it means to have some important costs. You can imagine how expensive it can be to put this boat at sea and then to make it work, basically. So the target of the campaign was set as very high. As you can see there, it was 40,000 euros as a target of the campaign. I need to say we were advised not to, to set a target, a too high target, because of course the possibility not to reach the target were very high. We were also advised not to set the duration of the campaign too long, because then we would have lost the momentum of the campaign. But then, I mean, to reach a target of 40,000 in a short duration of time was really absolutely impossible. So we decided to set 60 days of duration of the campaign, which is considered, the technical people here teach me, is considered a very long duration of the campaign. But we had to do that because, as you will see, we decided to put in place a set of activities in order to side the pure donation online. So somehow to propose to the citizens also some more traditional way of fundraising. And then the scheme that we adopted, it's the all or nothing one, which is probably the least indicated with such a high target, because then if you, as it was explained before, if we manage to raise 30,000 euros, we still didn't reach the target, so we had to deliver back the money. Testimonials renowned at national level. I'll show them to you later. We also contractualized a dedicated crowdfunding platform. We made an agreement with a national renowned crowdfunding platform, Produzione dal Basso, very renowned in a national level in Italy. So this traditional, rather more traditional way of raising funds helped a lot to reach the target. And then we also had the normal social channels, communication and TV and radio spot. But just to say that it was a multiple channel communication campaign. More traditional press conferences, of course, of politicians putting their face in front of the campaign. We think that this kind of more traditional communication activities helped the citizens to fight against the skepticism. So seeing some policymaker putting their face on the campaign probably helped the citizen to somehow decide to donate, probably. Those are the two websites. So on the left, it's the Produzione dal Basso platform, the crowdfunding platform. On the right is the website, it's marecircolare.it. These are some pictures of the fundraising dinner we had, 3, and then also the other events, more traditional events. We also made presentation in other events related to the topic of blue economy in order to better disseminate the campaign. Social network, classic traditional activities, TV and radio spots. So wide coverage of TV and radio spot, even outside the Marche region. And the rewards, basically. So we set different kind of rewards according to the level of donation and how the people decided to donate, from the t-shirt, basically, to the plaque over the boat for people who were going to donate a lot. What happened at the end? We were successful. we managed to reach the target, and so to raise over 40,000 euros. There was overfunding. A comment on overfunding. We allowed some overfunding until a certain point, because as was said before, we had to pay the platform also as a percentage of the amount raised. So basically, if we managed to raise 1 million euro, we had to pay quite an high amount, and we didn't have the budget. So we set a limit to the overfunding. As you can see from here, I mean, we were successful, but there is some hidden secret behind our success that I'm going to reveal right now. I mean, there is at least one information that is pretty weird. So the average donation, as you can see, is very high. So the people averagely donated 400 euros. Which tells you something in the sense that, okay, the citizens of Marche regions were fond of the initiative, but not that fond to donate 400 euro as an average. That was it, because, I mean, we had a lot of small donators, but also we had some big donors that donated some 1,000 euros to the campaign. And we actually knew that we had those big donors since the beginning of the campaign. So in this sense, I mean, this high target, when we set it, we were pretty, confident that we would have reached that, because we had these big donors backing up the campaign. I would say that at least half of the amount raised was raised through those big donors, so 20,000 more or less. For the rest, around 15,000 were raised from citizens, and 5,000 from fundraising dinner. Okay. Yeah, and this is also the flow of donation that you see here. I mean, there was some, quite some flow at the beginning of the campaign, then a dead, some dead weeks, and at the very end of the campaign, we had a huge push in order to reach the target. If I can say, if those late big donors would have donated a bit before, this would have been better for us, because probably the citizens would have even, even more been willing to support, given that the target was about to be reached. So, last slide, to summarize what we learned from our experience. So the strength of our campaign were definitely a sound preparation phase. So 1 year in order to prepare the campaign, basically. The design of the communication campaign was very important. The training of the beneficiary, as it was suggested before, was absolutely key for us in order to have somebody who really, were engaged in the campaign, and this was absolutely a must. Having engaged key stakeholders, influencers, very renowned at national level, probably helped to fight the skepticism of people who were new with this kind of fundings, basically. The long duration of the campaign is often seen as a weak point, but in our case allowed to explain to the citizens what was crowdfunding, even in more occasions, basically, and also allowed us to organize the fundraising dinner, for instance. Weaknesses, what we would avoid if we were to replicate this experience. Still the duration of the campaign, which indeed brought some lack of momentum, as you have seen some weeks we didn't register nearly any donation. Lack of ownership and financial support from public administration. We didn't have any match funding from the public authority. This is a weakness, because probably the citizen, if the citizen saw the public authority supporting further the campaign, would have been more pushed to donate even more, who knows. Problems of alignment of different partners. Of course, the people were new, even the people working in the campaign were new with this scheme, so we had to struggle a little bit in order to be everybody on the same line. And then you need to understand that there is the public authority, the private company, the technical staff who had different interests and priorities. So in order to have all on the same line, we had to meet quite some time, I need to say. and then late donation from big donors, as I said before. Of course, the opportunities to have such a successful campaign is a huge opportunity for the regional authority, because they can easily duplicate such an experience now. They have all the cards on the table, I would say. Also, on a political point of view, you can understand what it means from a politician to show to the citizens that the region managed somehow to raise such an high amount of money. I would say a couple of things about threats. Misuse of raised funds. We referred to this possible threat several times. And this is actually a big problem for us. I mean, how to be sure that the company, the garbage, after having raised 40,000 euro, would have actually implemented the activity, or either would have run away with the money. So what we did is to actually ask the platform to transfer the money to the region, actually not the region, through the in-house company of the region, SVEM. And this in-house company would have transferred the money in tranches to the beneficiary. So not all at once, but then in several tranches during the project implementation, no? Upon having the beneficiary showing that they were in effect realizing the activity they proposed. Yeah, and then of course lack of communication activity. This is very key. I mean, we are trying to follow up a lot with the communication, asking the beneficiary to update the donors on a daily basis, basically. Even if they are not yet at sea, they are still, updating the donors by saying, we are getting prepared, in this date we are going to do this event, etc., so that the people have the impression that the things are going to be realized.